A great friend of ours who used to work at the cathedral, Abby McKee, now lives in Oregon. I see her online occasionally. She reposted a tweet that had been posted on the Instagram account called Cheerful Nihilism. And it said, in 2021, one must ask, is this seasonal affective disorder, depression, a realistic response to the state of the world, or simply the way I feel from now on? I also, lost on the internet, saw the title of a magazine essay that would intrigue me. The title was, "How Worrying is the New COVID Variant?" It is worrying, and yet we stand ready to meet its challenges for our safety and for our surviving, for our sanity and our thriving. This beautiful cathedral church is surrounded with stained glass images of saints holding us, praying for us and with us, but it also has up there stained glass windows of scientists who are looking down and keeping an eye on us. But when I read that article headline, "How Worrying is the New COVID Variant?" my own heart read it differently because English is a stress language. I read it as, "How worrying is the new COVID variant? How worrying is the silent, hidden, contagious affection? How worrying might undo us." The earliest piece of writing in the New Testament, the epistle today, 1 Thessalonians, "Be on guard that your hearts are not weighed down with the worries of life." Okay, another tweet. "Sorry I didn't text you back for a month. Darkness took me, and I strayed out of thought and time. Stars wheeled overhead, and every day was as long as the life age of the earth. But I'm good now. How are you?" How are you? This week, the musical theater lyricist Stephen Sondheim died. No one is alone. Who can say what's true? Nothing's quite so clear now. Do things, fight things, feel you've lost your way, but you decide. But you are not alone. Believe me, no one is alone. Our Dean Emeritus often said that humans have forever longed for and learned to huddle together in great dark caves, light a fire, and tell stories. We still do. That's what this great cave of a cathedral offers. It's what Advent offers, the lighting of a candle or a string of lights, and opening a book of stories. The stories, the Bible, that annual holiday letter, the Zoom gatherings, the memories. But today the story is not about Christmas, but about our need for it. Today, there's barely a story at all. The subject and actor are Jesus said, and then we get, wow, that gut punch. Pretty bleak and wild and crazy. The sun, the moon, the stars, the heavens, The Bible does not predict future events, but describes our occasional present desperation in very dramatic terms, without sugarcoating, in order to focus attention on the urgency and importance of our life, especially our shared common life, the importance of our choices. Stephen Sondheim again, "No one is alone, believe me. Truly, you move just a finger, say the slightest word, something's bound to linger, be heard. No one acts alone. Careful, no one is alone." The lyricist and Advent remind us that our attitudes and our actions matter. And these images in the Bible, they're called apocalyptic. Pull back the curtain, no more artifice. They were meant for a shocking sympathy with whatever mess we're in, and to give reassurance, redemption, a reset, a reorientation. Our past pre-pandemic, normal, as it were, life worries, and our past full-blown pandemic, and our future worries of every variety and variant, plus imagining a future post-pandemic life, are exactly why Advent reorients us to the present moment. We heard from Jeremiah that Israel of old, with challenge and pain from within and from without, remembered God's faithful promises in the past, and stops to consider in faith and hope what might be possible now and how it will touch our future. "The days are surely coming, says the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David, who shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved and Jerusalem will live in safety." God did it before and will do it now. Take the winter stump of our life and our world and create again a new shoot, a new branch, green growth, something alive and renewed. The growth is not easily or immediately seen and obvious, gestating quietly. So be on guard, be alert. It's hard to see these things. There's so much that would dull us or distract us. Either those worrisome things or the over-loud, over-bright, over-boozed, over-happy holiday spirit can swamp the clarity of a prophetic promise, of green growth, of a quiet candle. Black Friday actually got me ready for today. I observed it, as many do, as a day to buy nothing. It's a kind of freedom that at first is a bit dizzying and disorienting. It was 5 minutes into my walk before I realized I had grabbed my shopping bag on the way out. I didn't buy anything. Besides that walk, I was able to do two things. One was to serve and to give. I made waffles for an out-of-town guest, an old friend. And in the evening, I did the other thing. I let myself be welcomed and served, and let myself receive turkey sandwiches and some live music. Advent readies us for the grown-up experience of Christmas, to let God accompany us, to enlighten us, to heal us, to let God love us. A Muslim teacher I heard speaking talked about the ritual washing before prayer that Muslims do. And the teacher said, this washing shouldn't be just perfunctory. It should be eager and excited, like a child, getting ready for what's to follow. So that once in the prayer, one could be like a calm, radiant elder. In Advent, we have childlike anticipation. So at Christmas, we can really receive what God has for us. We do have real responsibilities and concerns in the present which summon us to our future as God's people in this time and place. The days are surely coming. On that day, at that time, Advent is alerting us to our deepest calling. And we don't talk about it much, but it's our holiness, our holiness. In 1964, the Second Vatican Council of the Roman Catholic Church, in its beautiful document on the nature of the church, which is called Lumen Gentium, Light to the Nations, in chapter 5 of that document, after it talks about bishops and priests and monks and nuns and all this, it says that all Christians are called to holiness. Give us grace to put on the armor of light now in the time of this mortal life, when your Son came to visit us, to put on light, to put on holiness. Tonight, Jewish households and congregations begin their Hanukkah celebration, that expanded week of candle lighting and of rededication. It was a small, solemn, spiritual feast, and like our humble manger Christmas feast, is trying not to be compromised by commercialism. And there's nothing against retail. There's nothing against Christmas decorations and lights and parties. Why not? But there is so much stupid stuff we don't really need. And there are so few really valuable things we absolutely need. We need kind words, we need the people, we need the walks, the kids, we need the lights, we need the snowman socks, we need coffee and waffles and songs and Christmas cookies, the stories, and Jesus, the bread of life, coming from the feeding trough, the manger. The signs in the heavens are just to startle us and then to settle us. The signs in our common prayer, this Eucharist, also startle us and settle us. Holy Communion is not like other typically transactional encounters. It's not business as usual. It's not the counting out, tapping, swiping, keying in the amount, but here we get to completely offer ourselves, our life, our work, our worry, our wonder, our awe, our hopes, our fears, our comfort and joy. We come together this Advent to serve and give in praise and thanks, and to be welcomed and received. Annie Dillard quoted this story. In the early 16th century, at the wall in Jerusalem, Rabbi Abraham Halevi had a vision. He saw the Shekinah, that almost visible, almost invisible cloud of light that represented God's glory, God's presence, God's settling. At the wall, he saw the glory itself in exile, the presence of God. She revealed herself crouched and disheveled in great distress, alongside those who were praying in the ruined temple's shadow. And when the rabbi came out of his vision, the Shekinah took his head between her knees and wiped the tears from his eyes. The days are surely coming when I will fulfill my promises. The divine presence, just out of sight, crouching down right alongside us, is ready to reveal her light and healing, to welcome and receive us, to share the divine holiness with us. No one is alone, just remember, someone is on your side. Someone else is not. While we're seeing our side, maybe we forgot they are not alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.